So just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, well, they have. And what I'm about to tell you is going to make you go, what the hell? Okay? So make sure to stick around from start to finish to understand this. It is another messy situation, and it is in relation to the Dylan Rounds case, as you can tell by the title. In one way or another, I'm kind of being silenced and restricted at the same time. And I'm going to explain it all completely. For those that are currently here in the live premiere or whenever, wherever, welcome, share your thoughts, opinions, reactions. And of course, shout out specifically to the few good people on this channel that show support, that show care and consideration. As for the others, you know, whatever, in unfairness, adred. But that aside, share your comments down below. If you want to spread awareness of this video, make sure to do so, because you know, when I'm reflecting back on it, it's ridiculous considering two key factors, and I'm going to explain them today. But first, the issue that I have encountered, I only came across today in the evening, actually, okay? It's only just suddenly happened, right? It's in relation to two Dylan Rounds videos that I did months ago now, okay? It's to do with the Dylan Rounds documentary by Paramount Plus. You know, the one which I starred in without my consent. Yeah. Just like other channels out there that are doing videos about me without my consent, deep fake AI technology. You know, wherever I turn, there is trouble, there's something going on, okay? This is why it's so ridiculous. And for it to happen now, and it's to do with the past, two Dylan Rounds videos. What the hell's going on? So the two Dylan Rounds videos, which were covering the documentary about Dylan, I used about 15 to 30 seconds worth of footage. That's it. And obviously, most of the video was original content by me talking, commentary, narrating, analysing, the lot. I just wanted to add in about under 30 seconds worth of footage from the documentary so you could hear it for yourself as proof in relation to what I was talking about at the time. And, you know, I guess things didn't work out because today I received a copyright ID claim for using their material. At first, I just thought, oh, is it music once again? You remember in the past with those countdown timers at the start of my videos? Well, that was a correlation there with pizza and drugs, Darren Bradbury, or whatever you say his name, false claims. But no, this time round, it was a genuine copyright ID claim. So it's not a strike, which is fine, but the video is limited, and I think it might be blocked in many countries, so maybe not many people will be able to see it. Now, those Dylan Rounds videos, they don't really perform well, right? People don't look back at them, so it's not a major loss, but it's once again things being taken from me, okay? And it's just a silly situation. It's only happened now, an ID copyright claim. Why is it taking this long for them to just suddenly think, oh, you used this footage, naughty, naughty, and they get punished? Why not at the time, right? So for that length and period, it seemed like everything was okay, but it wasn't. It just goes to show how at any moment, any time, any second, anything can happen. Bad, negative, and it can be out of your control. So even times when you think you've done the right thing and you've done nothing wrong, then the hammer comes down and strikes you, just like that. So yeah, two Dylan Rounds videos, both limited and restricted just because I used a very small portion of the footage from the documentary, okay? Now, I should be grateful at least that they didn't strike or go in hard like that. But once again, it just highlights, how am I supposed to make videos or prove my point? How am I supposed to use evidence when I get punished for doing it? You get what I'm saying? So there's times where I can point something out, I can make an observation, I can state something as a fact. And if I don't provide the evidence or material, I'm going to get called a liar. It's going to damage the credibility. People aren't going to trust me the same way as if I had information at hand to show to you. But it seems like that information, the material and media at times when presenting it in a video, whilst transforming the overall video, more so, my content, is still not good enough, still gets punished. So that's happened all of a sudden now. Some people will say, well, why don't you dispute it? I'll be honest with you, I don't want to go there, right? I've disputed videos in the past. Not so much copyrighted videos, but more so when they've become limited or restricted for going against guidelines, right? When I did it in the past, I did nothing wrong. There was a human review and they reported back to me that I did go against guidelines. So these YouTube people have actually lied and bent the rules, gone against it, and claimed that I broke guidelines. So that because I did human reviews and I was deemed in the wrong, my credibility and trust, which YouTube had within me, went down. My self-certification score went down, which meant every single video that I uploaded from there on then, it was limited or restricted, and there was nothing I could do. And it lasted for about 4 to 5 months. Do people remember that period? It was so draining. It was so annoying. There was no comfort. There was nothing. Every second, every moment when I recorded a video or uploaded it, I didn't think it was safe. I felt, you know what? This is not going to work, is it? I'm going to get punished for this. I'm going to get punished for that. This video will get limited, restricted, etc. And it'd be an endless cycle. And that's how it was at the time. And yeah, it was fixed in the end, but it took 5 months, right? I don't want to go through that again, So these 2 videos that have been claimed recently, I don't even want to dispute them. You could say fair use, you could say, transforming the video, making it a bit clearer or a bit more unique. You could claim that, oh, you didn't use over a minute, you used under 30 seconds, so it falls under fair use, whatever. I don't even trust that. I've got zero confidence in YouTube besides everything else, right? If I was to dispute this on the 2 videos, as it said, if you get 2 or 3 videos wrong when requiring a human review, your self-certification score goes down. And you know what that means? 5 more months of hell. I've been through it once. I really do not want to go through it again. So I'm not going to dispute these videos. I might be in the right. I might have a claim or I might have a valid point, but I do not want to risk it at this point because it's just not worth the time, right? But let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think it's right what's happened or not? And some people will say rules are rules. You got to stick with them. But come on, you've seen YouTube, you've seen the guidelines. They're constantly switching and changing. One thing's allowed, but the other one isn't, okay? It's one rule for one, a rule for another out there. There's no consistency. That's why I've got no trust or hope in YouTube itself as a platform. But really, YouTube is the only platform that's good enough compared to the others which have the tools, and obviously my channel is established here, nowhere else. So it's not worth starting again, right? But, I need to mention the 2 factors now which will put it all into perspective, okay? Because whilst it's not the end of the world this time round, it really does annoy me considering there are 2 factors to take in mind and they're valid. So, factor number 1, the documentary are slow, but, able to punish me and do that ID copyright claim. So I get punished for it, right? They do that. They take something from me. Wow. And yet the documentary, Paramount Plus, Dylan Round's documentary, they had the audacity to use footage of me without my consent and put it into their documentary. That's copyright. It was my own original content, and they took that from me to put in their documentary. And then the moment I kind of do the same thing after, they punish me. So it's okay for them to use my footage without consent, but if I was to do it to them, I get punished. That is so one-sided. That's double standards. I hope, people see that, because it's ridiculous, right? And, you could say, yeah, but, you shouldn't sink to their levels. You shouldn't do what they did out of spite, what they've done originally. And I was never thinking like that at the time, I just used a bit of documentary footage because it was valid for the video that I was doing at the point. Not once was I thinking, oh, well, they used my footage, I'll use theirs. I wasn't thinking that. But when looking back retrospectively, you can see how it is. They can use my footage, but I can't use theirs. And they didn't even ask me if I wanted to appear in the documentary. And you know why? There's another reason why it's so bad and so annoying, is the fact that that documentary slandered my name, defamation of character. The documentary edited the video so it sounded like what was being said was coming from me, but it wasn't. I was, relaying from where a theory idea came from. So that documentary team put words into my mouth. So not only did they steal my content without consent, but they put words into my mouth and slandered my name. Bloody hell, this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sick of this stuff happening, And it doesn't have to be specifically this. It can be anything and everything, because what it seems to be is back to back, right? It wasn't that long ago, a day or two, when people turned on me just like that for no apparent reason. People just turned on me, disrespected me, attacked me, whatever, and others in the background for some time now, some kind of hate campaign against me. And now this documentary, after all these months, what next, right? I go to the Kenny Veach case, I get attacked, I get disrespected, annoying things happen, bad stuff happens to me, etc., right? For no true reason. So I take a little rest from that to focus on something more positive. The Dylan Brown's case, I was looking forward to that. And the first thing that I'm greeted with is this BS. It's honestly like, whatever direction I go in, there is a door that slams right in my face. And I'm just supposed to keep on going and going. And the same crap keeps on happening, right? I know some can say, yeah, but there's others out there. Is there really? Because the next factor that I'm going to mention is a valid one. So don't go anywhere. But yeah, back to back from one case to another. Thank goodness that I'm not covering dozens of cases like other people did. Because just think of the amount of problems that I would have if I covered so many cases and looked at so much material. It would be dangerous. It just wouldn't be a good thing, would it? Anyway, so besides the double standards and hypocrisy with that toxic Dylan Rounds Paramount Plus documentary, what they've done to me back then and now, despite that, you know why it does annoy me? For number two, the second factor. Look at all the true crime channels, live streams, videos on YouTube or elsewhere. Most of the big channels on YouTube and mid-range channels, right? They sit there, they watch a video, they watch a live stream in their own live stream. They react to a courtroom proceeding. They react to a trial. They sit there for nearly 2 hours and watch the whole thing in their video. And they don't get any copyrights. They don't get struck. They don't get silenced. They don't get limited or restricted. All these true crime channels, whether they're big channels or mid-range, can sit there on their arse and use material, footage and videos for as long as what they want. And yet the moment when I do something similar and use under 30 seconds worth of footage, I'm punished. And no one else is. Come on. Surely people can see the ridiculous nature there. Everyone else can do this and that, but then when I do it, I'm punished? Come on. You know, this example is kind of mirrors life for me in general. At times, if I look back in the past or I look forwards, I can make the slightest of mistakes or just do one tiny thing wrong, or I might not do anything wrong, but it's perceived as wrong, and I get the consequences, right? Other people do the same thing, if not worse, and nothing happens to them. That's how it is on YouTube. That's how it is in life. It's a joke. I don't know how else I'm supposed to respond to it besides laughing, you know? Just laughing because it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. After all the stuff that's happened in the past, the stuff in recent time, and now, it's crazy. It really is crazy. So, you know, I want to know your thoughts down below. I mean, I want to try and say everything right now, what I'm thinking, what I think of the situation and what's happened, and hopefully I've explained it clear enough, right? But, you know, the coincidence of one thing after happening after another, and then after another, back to back, it can't catch a moment's peace. I can't catch a moment's breath, right? You know what really would be the cherry on the top, which would just completely ruin everything, is if Google Earth satellite imagery started doing copyright. You know, all the public stuff which I've looked at and done map analysis of, and the footage, if that all got claimed, what would there be left to do? Like, this is ridiculous. You know, it might not bother people, but sometimes it bothers me that I feel like my videos, my edits are terrible and maybe a bit boring. But there are moments where I would like to transform it or, you know, make it look a bit different. And I just can't. I can't risk it, you know? Sometimes I get a little bit excited. Oh, why not make it a bit spooky? Why not, you know, do some narration, add a little bit of music in the background, use a bit of stock footage, all above board, copyright free, using music in which a person, the composer, allows me to use their footage. I've tried that and I got punished. Not from the composer, but as said, whenever I use music in my videos, even if it follows guidelines, all above board, third-party people and third-party groups, record labels claim that music used in my video as theirs. It's not even their music. Do you see? It's too risky using music. That's why I tend not to use it in my videos, because whenever I have done so, I've been punished for doing that. And I'm using copyright-free music and third-party people are claiming it as their own when it's not. Now, in the past, I didn't do anything about it because I didn't know what to do. And nowadays, I dispute it and it's successful. So that's something at least. But I don't want to have to keep going through that process over and over again, because still to this day, my Dylan Rounds videos from back then, from a year or two ago, they're still getting copyright claims. Whether it be from Darren Bradbury Pizza and Drugs music video, which never appeared in my video, but they're claiming it did, or if it's some other random people down the line. I really don't know what's going on. one thing that did happen a few days ago, co.ag music actually received a copyright claim from them. And I'm thinking, what? I disputed it. And it was cleared up immediately. So I'm guessing that the composer saw my dispute and accepted it immediately because he gets on well with me. It's all fine. There are some, because it's an ID copyright claim, there are glitches in the system. So mistakes are made, but mistakes are made far too often, right? So that's what's happened recently with co.ag music. So really, there's nowhere safe, right? And it really does take the enjoyment out of everything, because, you know, I'm making a video, I'm recording it, and then I'm uploading it. You get the feeling of dread, right? Oh, do I want to do this? No, because I'll probably get a copyright claim. Do I want to include that? No, because it'll probably break guidelines, even though it doesn't. Am I ready to hit the upload button and make it public, or am I dreading it receiving a restriction, a claim in the future? You get what I'm saying? When it came to some football videos that I did, short ones, actual football, and I transformed it, I edited it, right? I got punished for that twice, and I do not want to repeat that, so I deleted all the football videos to be safe. You know, yes, I lost a lot of views because I deleted the videos, I took the views away, okay? I think I lost about 300,000 views, okay? It sounds shocking, but I'd rather sacrifice certain channel statistics and, you know, all the hard work. I'd sacrifice that for keeping the channel around, right? And once again, football, yes, murky waters. Music on YouTube, murky waters. It's hard with the copyright stuff. But I see many other people out there doing it and they don't get punished. So either at the end of the day, if I'm going to get punished, everybody else should, if they're doing the same thing as me. Or if they don't get punished for what they do, then I shouldn't either, right? That's the way I think of it. Is there anything else to highlight? Yeah, I forgot to mention one point from last night or whenever it was. Messy situation, messy time, just wanted to address it. And I want to add on now for context. There's some comments here and there, supportive ones, and in the past where people say, well, you're doing a good job, or you're popular, you're growing, you're gaining views, whatever. So you're going to get resistance. It is what it is. It's what comes with the role as being a YouTuber. And whilst I can understand that and accept that to an extent, there's one big but. I have 10,000 subscribers. I don't have 10,000 people always coming back to my channel. Many people that have subscribed to my channel don't watch my videos anymore, but I do keep bringing in new viewers. They come, they go, but it's recycled, more people come. So the views aren't really an issue, but in terms of the status of me and my channel, I'm not that high up there. I'm not that popular. I'm not that successful yet, and yet I'm being attacked and I'm a target. I don't know how to quite word this, so bear with me. Basically, I can understand it. If you got 50, 70,000 subscribers, 100,000 or more, you would be deemed as a potential target. You do have a following, an audience, a fan base, and with more people watching, there's chances more people will get annoyed, ticked off by you. You may say something, you may do something in your video, which just so happens to trigger somebody. And in the high volumes of people, there will be chances of someone getting triggered. You know, the chances are higher when there's more people present, and you being a target are higher when you're more well known. Just like if you're a celebrity, or if you're a political leader, if you're a president, you're a prime minister, whatever role, If you're out there in the public eye, or at least known of in public in a way, and you're popular, there might be some people out there that may not like you or may not like what you do or say. So they punish you, they come after you. And it's not nice, but it can happen, right? But come on, I'm not even a big channel. I'm still small and growing. Well, hopefully I'm growing, right? I just can't accept that at such smaller numbers compared to everybody else out there who's more successful and established, let's say as a YouTube channel, and I'm getting attacked this early on. What does that say about the future? How much worse is it going to get for me? You get what I'm saying? If other people can do it for so long and get so big and then they face resistance, and yet I'm getting it so early on, what am I supposed to expect next? You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. It should not be happening at all, right? But it does. And in this instance, it should definitely not be happening. Not yet, at least. But it has. So, honestly, no matter what direction I turn in, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. It's a lose-lose situation, to be honest. Obviously, people can say, well, just walk away from YouTube. Quit, delete your channel, that's it. No. Well, it's not cowardly. No, it's probably a sane, normal thing to do. If there's so much BS, you just walk away. But I don't want to walk away. It's kind of like when I've played video games in the past. Nowhere near as important as YouTube, but the state of gameplay, the state of things, and the way it is online, and it's so annoying. It's taken all the fun out of it. It feels like a lose-lose situation. You can't have fun anymore. Eventually, I've walked away from certain video games because it's not been as important as other stuff, but it's still been hard to walk away from when I've done it for so long, or I've enjoyed it at least in the past. Why can't it still be like that now, right? And to be fair, YouTube, it's never really been that great, has it? But there's been spells where when there's been no BS, I've been perfectly okay with it, right? You know, I don't know, people say in the past when you had the other YouTube CEO and their religion and their gender and all this, they were very censoring of people on YouTube. I'll keep it short there, right? But to be honest, I think ever since that person called Susan, not to be mixed up with Susan in the community of the Kenny Beach case, two different people. But Susan, what Polish name I think it is, I don't know how to say it. Whenever she stepped down and some of the guys stepped up, it's actually got worse since. So I don't think it has improved whatsoever, right? Yeah, of course, I can still do the Dylan Rounds videos soon. I mean, this one's a Dylan Rounds one. It's something, I guess. But unfortunately, the way I do my videos, I've got to stick with it, and I can't change it. I can't risk it, right? I don't know if to do a video. I don't know if to do a poll at some point asking people, are you okay with these videos, or are they bad? Are they poor quality? Are they boring, dull, repetitive? I mean, some people may say that, but I've got no choice. I've honestly got no choice because I'm literally stood in a field of, what do you call them? Landmines, explosives. If I step forwards, I'm going to blow up. Turn to the right, left, backwards, I'm going to blow up. I need Watcher Crazy to save me in a helicopter. That's what it's got to, that point, metaphorically speaking. Okay? Now, one last thing I do want to round off in case there's any lingering people in the background or whatever watching right now. I've noticed in recent time people like to do the analysis of me. It just doesn't work. It's not accurate. There's no proof, right? It's poor. When I do it, I'm not doing it for the sake of it. I'm not doing it because I'm a do-gooder. I'm doing it because I've got 10 plus years in analysing human behaviour, patterns and trends, and tones of voices and text. I have genuinely done it for a long time, and even a period where it was almost like self-torture when I was trying to work things out with another individual in the past, right? Mistakes made, should have broken a cycle earlier, whatever. But through that suffering and just through analyzing out of interest, right, over time, I really do know what I'm saying, right? But many other people don't. So when they do the analysis of me, it just doesn't work. And the only reason why I wanted to refer to that now, I wouldn't be surprised if some people say, is Warlight Ref upset? You know, just simply because my eyes look watery. But all I can say is, it's nighttime. I'm sat near the window. There's a light just above me. So it's shining down. It's shining at the window, which is casting a reflection back. I can see my own reflection in the window. It's creating that glare, which obviously reflects in the eyes. That's why it looks like it's shimmering, okay? I never thought I would have to explain myself like that, but the way it's gone on YouTube recently, that's what I've had to do, right? Damn. Of course, I can refine how I respond to people in the future and who I respond to. I think that will definitely have to, revamp, change up. I might have to respond back to less people with time to avoid all this unnecessary BS. And we're not even talking about drama or conflict, right? This is completely random, petty, delusional, random stuff. Watch Your Crazy, you asked me a valid, important, interesting question recently. What was worse, the Kenny Veach or the Dylan Rounds community? I can understand it from other people's perspectives. Dylan Rounds is worse because some people have been attacked directly or indirectly in real life through people online with locations, phone numbers, and contacting family members. Yeah, that's messed up. That is bad. I never went through that. I never experienced it. So, it's not as bad for me. So when looking back at it in general, I'd probably say the Dylan Rounds case and community, as messy as it was at times, it's probably not as bad as the Kenny Veach case and community. And I'll explain that. Watch Your Crazy. Because I'm one of the only few people doing the Kenny Veach case, and there's less people. I'm more of a target. I am more alone, if that makes sense. In the Dylan Rounds case and community, there were so many different people and characters covering the case, talking about it, okay, collectively. At one point, nice, fun, whatever. Then it became chaotic and a complete mess, circus performance. But when bad things did happen, if it impacted me, it probably impacted somebody else, and vice versa. People heard about it, the community, knowing what's going on and what's happening next. When silly or petty things did happen, other people did stand up for me, defend me. Matt Lingo, Dale, I guess Bell V, Watch Your Crazy, Guidance, Betty Hayward, and other people out there. If like a fake account of me showed up elsewhere, people, defended me and said, that's a fake account, it's somebody out there doing bad stuff. People helped me, right? And even when silly stuff did happen, like when someone called me a trafficker and the other person said I doxed their cat. Yes, it's a silly situation, but other people were on the receiving end of those individuals with those false claims, those criticisms, the labels, the slander. So because of that collective nature of we're all going through some BS in the case, in the community, more people understood one another, more people were able to help one another out, right? But in the Kenny Veach case, it's more of an isolated feeling because there's less people covering it, but more people watching. And normally, it's the creators that get attacked, well, most of the time, right? Unless you're really outspoken as a viewer. So the majority of viewers didn't get attacked in the Kenny Veach case, so they wouldn't understand the extent, the severity of things, and they couldn't really do much either because some didn't know what to do and others just didn't quite have the power because they didn't have their own channel, they didn't have an audience, they couldn't spread awareness like other people could in the Dylan Rounds community. And in the Dylan Rounds true crime YouTube streets community, there is somewhat prolific, do you call it that? Infamous or famous or well-known people that might get on well with other people. So then they act as a middleman to settle a score, to sort a situation out, to clear up mistakes or misunderstandings. I didn't have to do it all myself, right? So on that basis, Watch Your Crazy, as messy as the Dylan Rounds case community was, exclusively from my experience, which wasn't as bad maybe as yours or other people, because there was more people around to defend, support, spread awareness, and also other people going through the same thing, it was easier to deal with as a whole compared to the Kenny Veach case and community and what goes on there, right? Because obviously, when you're bigger in numbers or there's just more people in numbers on your side or get you, the easier the situation is and the higher the chances are that something will be squashed, a rumour, BS and all that. So I'm glad I was able to respond back to that because it took some time to think. So hopefully Watch Your Crazy, you heard that with what was said there. I said, you know, I do these videos because it's the only positive thing I can do during times of mess like this, right? If YouTube or third-party people or simply viewers on this channel want to take something away from me or stop me, I'm going to respond back by doing my own content so I can keep things moving and I can document stuff and I can turn a negative situation, or at least try to turn it into a positive one. Whether that be defending myself, that's a positive thing, spreading awareness so more people become alert of it, or just as a video itself because it might distract people because it sounds bad this, but it does happen. If there's people out there that might have some issues going on, if they hear about other people going through worse things or just similar stuff, let's call it, bad things, it can act as a distraction. Some people may think, oh, well, actually, it's not that bad because this person's going through something worse. Now, it shouldn't be treated as a competition, but at times, I guess natural human behavior, that's how the mindset can think at times. So I think we'll leave it there for now. Not a long video, but I guess you could call it a bit of an odd introduction to the Dylan Rounds case once again, but don't worry, the next few Dylan Rounds videos that I do, they should be okay. There shouldn't be any issues. I'm not going to use any music. I'm definitely not going to use any of the material out there. I'm just going to stick with the basic, boring Google Earth imagery, the odd article or comment elsewhere if it's available. Okay, so thanks to those that did watch and the people that were present last night in the other video that was done that may have defended me. I said I didn't look at the video, I didn't look at the live chat, so I'm not quite sure what happened. Actually, I may have had a quick glimpse or something. It was late, to be honest. I think Badger Life, good individual, may have commented in defence of me last night and some other people. But I said I didn't watch it all, so I'm not going to know. So I think we'll leave it there for now. We'll see what happens next. And yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye and good night.